Great takedown, but just as you say that, man, Aldermaki takes control and takes full mount. Yeah.
When dumb fighters lose their cool. Cool, calm, and collected. These are things that we look at in the quintessential fighter. However, athletes often live their lives under a microscope, so any slip-up that they may have is almost immediately publicized. It's not easy being a fighter, but it is easy to, not punch guys in a bar. Conor McGregor. Not saying I haven't done it, but it seemed easily avoidable afterward. Also, it wasn't a bar. It was a Chuck E. Cheese. We're not here to talk about me, though. In this video, we're talking about fighters that lost control. Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier fight before the fight. On a scale of filthy casual, die-hard MMA fan, how many times have you seen this scuffle? Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier were, and in par, still are very candid in their hatred towards one another. But these are facts. Anyways, the two hate each other. Delving into. As the two went face-to-face for a media event, the two got up close and personal, forehead to forehead, and then DC grabbed Jon by the neck and pushed him. Critical error. Jones then drops his belt, pushes Dave's shoulder with great ease, and starts swinging at Cormier. Everything got out of hand here, and it turned into a huge spectacle in the lobby of the MGM Grand. I'm sure this isn't the first brawl that this lobby has seen, but it's got to be the most talented. Is this the most heated rivalry in combat sports history? Marc Goddard isn't playing around. If you learn two things from this video, we hope it's 1, don't be an ass, and 2, don't get referee Marc Goddard mad. As Ahmad Aldermaki was en route to winning his fight, he, for some reason, wasn't satisfied and messed everything up. After locking in a rear naked choke and forcing a tap from his opponent, Darmaki held on for a bit longer, forcing Marc to step in and open the choke. Whatever, super lame, but heat of the moment, right? Well, Ahmad then gets up and shoves Marc Goddard. This push wasn't very effective because Marc looks as if a Ford Mustang knew how to do bicep curls. But that's neither here nor there. He attacked an official. Not just a shove, but he kept laying hands on Marc, who was very gracious in not throwing up a flying triangle on the guy. Goddard disqualified Darmaki, which resulted in his opponent being victorious. Which he did indeed celebrate, which is a little bit odd, but whatever. At least he's not attacking referees. Do you, my man? Hey you, double dare you to drop a like on the video if you're enjoying it so far.
Rear naked choke, ladies and gentlemen, Marc Goddard. Whoa, what is happening?
The Ultimate Fighter fight, but not how we expected. We'll be short and sweet with this one, because if I get going, oh boy, will I get going. I'm the biggest Chael Sonnen fan, and I'll talk about every situation that led to this scuffle, starting from when Chael was born. What you need to know, Chael Sonnen talked a lot of trash about Brazil. Wanderlei Silva is from Brazil, and the two were opposing coaches on The Ultimate Fighter. Oh, that season was in Brazil. So everyone hated Chael, since almost everyone there was Brazilian, right? Right? Wrong. Sonnen actually won over a lot of the fighters on the show. He showed that he's a genuine guy and actually cares to bring the next generation of fighters up. Wanderlei still hated him though, and that's what brings us to this clip. After being shoved earlier in the show, Sonnen promised to not let Silva get that close again, or else he'd assume that a fight had started. Well, Silva got close, and you know what Sonnen says? I can't let you get close. Chael said this after shoving Silva, and it seemed he was right in predicting a fight breaking out. Wanderlei tried to slap Sonnen, but was met with that patented power double leg takedown. Though this was indeed great television, Uncle Dana wasn't happy at all. Hop on UFC Fight Pass to catch the entire season. Watch all the moments that lead up to this. That was really funny. Also, the whole season is worth watching and has some very familiar faces on it.
and let's keep this thing cool for the rest of the season, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Michael Chiesa stands up for his mother. Allow us to give you the details behind this. Michael Chiesa, sporting a mullet before mullets were cool again, was set to take on Kevin Lee, who at the time was about as vain as possible. The two were at a press conference and trashed each other's appearances. No biggie. However, Kevin Lee mentioned that Michael Chiesa's mom bought tickets to their fight, which in and of itself is harmless. However, while in trash talk mode, it's not good to mention parents. Further, we'd advise you to watch The Ultimate Fighter Season 15 for the full effect of his background. Chiesa lost his father essentially right when the show started. He wasn't able to be as close to his family as he would have liked due to the show, but his father wanted him to see this competition through. Turns out he knew something we didn't. Chiesa went on to win the show after choking out Al Iaquinta. So yeah, it's fair to assume Chiesa holds his mother close and won't take any form of disrespect about her. Back to the press conference. Chiesa and Lee were jawing at one another. A comment about Chiesa's mother was made, and Michael stood up to tell Kevin not to do that. Then the scuffle began. Really, it's hard to see what happened. It kind of looks like Lee landed a punch, but nothing significant. The scuffle was separated. Justin Gaethje clapped like it was the best thing he's ever seen, and the two were escorted off the stage. Do you think Chiesa overreacted? Or given the background information, was this an expected reaction? Let us know what you think.
My mom. Yeah. What's good?
Here we go. Grapplers. Something completely in your wheelhouse. Gordon Ryan is irrefutably the best no-gi grappler in the world. The way he dominates people who've been black belts for about as long as he's been alive is truly impressive. One could make a compelling argument that he's the most dominant person at what he does, and he has the biggest gap between him and second best. After competing, Ryan went backstage to do an interview. And who might be back there? Grappling legend, ADCC champion, and very scary dude Andrea Galvano. Galvano was very confrontational and approached Ryan as if he wanted to start a fight. Ryan then, being one of the most confident dudes to live, slapped the grappling icon. Twice. After this, Galvano awkwardly followed Gordon around, while Gordon intermittently tried to start an actual fight. Really? Kind of a weird sight that Flow Grappling tried to monetize with their platform that many people are not a fan of. That's right, we're throwing shade. But hey, many people aren't a fan of Gordon either. Whatever we have to do to watch him compete, I guess. Conor McGregor 10-8's a freaking bus. First off, let's give a shout out to the channel Anatomy of a Fighter for capturing this moment and staying composed during the chaos. Brief backstory, Khabib Nurmagomedov didn't like how McGregor's teammate and former UFC fighter Artem Lobov talked about him in the media. When Khabib and team ran into Lobov backstage, Nurmagomedov slapped him a few times and, for lack of a better term, punked him. Conor didn't like this too much. The Notorious then gathered up a gaggle of teammates and scary-looking dudes, went to New York, and found the bus that Khabib was in. Unfortunately, it wasn't just Khabib and his team in the bus, rather it was loaded with a bunch of fighters set to fight at UFC 223. This mostly seemed like scare tactics, but things got very serious when Conor himself threw a dolly at the bus. This shattered a window and sprayed glass everywhere. Michael Chiesa was cut, Ray Borg had glass in his eye, and Rose Namajunas was absolutely shook up by it all. Really, everyone seemed rattled by the situation. Chiesa was removed from the card due to multiple cuts. Ray Borg was removed due to glass in his eye, and Artem Lobov was removed because of his involvement in the situation. McGregor was detained and fined, and though this was a classless act, it did wonders in setting up one of the biggest fights in MMA history. 229, bar the drunken fans in the lobby and whatever happens in the streets of Las Vegas. This fight was set up and, to this day, is the most anticipated fight in MMA history. In fact, this 2018 event is still the most successful selling UFC pay-per-view that the UFC has produced. This, in part, is because of the previously mentioned bus incident. Nurmagomedov sent a chilling message afterwards, where he famously told Conor to send location. The UFC used this footage to advertise UFC 229, and the most anticipating event in MMA history took place. They genuinely dislike one another more than Jones and DC? This is an easy answer. It's close, but these two may take the cake. The bus, the trash talk, the media, everything propelled this fight into being the most heated one the UFC has put in. Heated to an almost uncomfortable level. This was no longer about winning, it was about everything that Khabib stood for. The fight itself was great, Conor for his efforts. In the 4th round, the Eagle locked in a neck crank and forced Conor to tap in this, the biggest fight in the promotion's history. Well, that's over. Time to go home. Psych! Khabib's for Conor's corner. He didn't want to attack John Galvano because of his age, so he attacked the equally brash jiu-jitsu coach of Conor's. The Eagle took flight, and madness erupted in the T-Mobile Arena. Khabib was handling Conor's corner, and that's Conor jumped on the fence and threw a punch at one of Khabib's teammates. Others came into the octagon and attacked Conor, but with nowhere near the success of Khabib. The heat was eventually snuffed out, and things were in as much order as they could be, which wasn't calm enough for the belt to be strapped around. How did you react when this happened? Did you watch it live? Could you believe what you were seeing? That does it for this video. Which was your favorite entry? Do you want to see more videos like this? Let us know down below. Don't forget to drop a like on the video if, you liked the video. Makes sense, right? Hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to make sure you never miss an update. Until next time.